Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CSTV. I'm your host, Kathleen Egal Toto, Madam CS, and this is the Striker. Stay tuned and have it true and real. The Striker today, we're looking at how the church has decided to give back President Ruto and his allies their money. It's saying we don't want your money, we don't want your contributions. What we want is responsibility and accountable leadership. So we're going to look at the relationship between the church and President Ruto and his political allies. And while we're looking at this particular relationship, we are trying to figure out what is in for President Ruto in 2027. Remember, President Ruto came to power in 2022 using the church a lot. He was in the church crying, he was in the church praying, he was in the church singing. And even after he was sworn in, we have seen a series of national prayer days in this particular country. We have like, I don't know, a church somewhere, I don't know, is at the deputy president, his residence all somewhere. But the thing is, it has been, a government that is behaving more of a theocracy. We have been chosen by God, si uchawi ni maombi, etc. But in the recent past, we saw the Catholic Church started, came the ACK, now the Presbyterian, and there is even a threat by some church leaders from actually Kisumu to, curse Gladys Sholei over her utterances. But before we dive into this, kindly, if you are new to this particular channel, welcome home, karibu nyumbani. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment on our videos. Kindly turn on the notification bell so that the next time actually we are uploading a video, YouTube will automatically notify you. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning in. Asante sana for your support. Kindly remember to like, share, and comment on our videos. Now, it all started last week when the church, that is the Catholic bishops of Kenya, issued a statement calling upon the government of President Ruto to do what? To be accountable, to fulfill promises, to fix issues that are affecting this particular country. A simple statement from these Catholic bishops made at least 5 to 15 reactions from the government. The Ministry of Education responded, the Senate responded, individual members of parliament, the likes of Oscar Sudi responded, the Ministry of Health responded. That was very fast. It was very fast. Somebody could think it is the members of parliament who are actually passing the bill to increase their salary. But the response was very fast, and the response was very categorical. Even the president himself, the following Saturday, actually told the church leaders that they are liars, that the issues they are raising are not true. They should do the investigations well. But remember, this is not the first time actually the church has raised issues. It did not start with the Catholic bishops alone. We have had in the past some church leaders actually telling the government that the country is not heading to the right directions. Then after all those responses, can you imagine on Saturday, President Ruto goes to attend a Catholic event at Embu, and he turned around and said he has heard what the church has said and is ready to listen to that, and even promised that, I think this Sunday I'm going to look for a Catholic church, go there and worship so that I can complete my week well with the Catholics. Because on Friday he was at Angasa College, on Saturday he was plastered, on Sunday he was at Embu, on Friday they had actually greeted him, walikuwa wamemtumia salamu, and then on Sunday he went to Soweto Church in Nairobi. There he donated 600,000 Kenya shillings to the choir and the children, and then from there he donated 2 million to build the father's church, and promised to send 3 million. Governor Sakaja offered 200,000 towards the same. But now the Archdiocese of Nairobi through Bishop Phil Bunyoro has decided to return the money. The man on the cloth, what did he do? He wrote a letter and said that any money that was given to Soweto from the president and his allies is in violation of, the rules and regulations that were passed by the church some times back. And therefore, that money has to go back. And even they promise they don't want it. And this comes amidst the situation whereby we saw the Anglican Church leaders and the clergy came out to defend the Catholic bishops against the reactionary and the blame by the government. We saw the SCK saying no, the Catholic bishops raised a very serious issue. We are also raising it here, and the government must listen. We also saw some church clergy or some church leaders from from Kisumu threatening actually to hold a national prayer day to curse Gladys Sholei over her utterances. Actually, I have not dug deep to find out what she said, but they say that she speaks so badly, especially when the government is being questioned on its accountability and responsibility. And then comes in the PCA has also changed the track that, you know what, we have to hold this government into accountable. These things, honestly, they are not nice things. As far as Ruto is concerned, this is not the news he wants to hear. I'm meant to understand is Ruto is one man right now who is actually asking himself, what do I do? What can I do? Because he came into power courtesy of the church. And President Ruto knows very well that if a pastor says we are voting for this candidate, 99% of that congregation will vote for that candidate. And so he knows what the power of the church when it comes to politics and governance in this particular country. Ideally, actually, there's no separation between the church and politics when it comes to African issues. The church and politics, the religion and politics are inseparable. And we have seen where our bishops, our pastors, our clergies have given direction on something. The members follow it generously. And no even government official can tell them that is wrong. And that's why we have like people, things like to do with Sakahola. A pastor will tell people, fast to death, and they will do that. Because they believe, matters of God and religion, just leave them out. And Ruto knows that he capitalized on this particular religion and the church in 2022 to win. But right now, I think Dr. Ruto and our president actually is a man who is very much shaking in terms of his political future as far as 2027 is concerned. He started by losing Mount Kenya. And actually, residents demonstrated on Saturday that it did not only lose the western side of Mount Kenya, but also Mount Kenya East. The way they were saying that Uongo, the way they were not even clapping at him, it tells you a lot. So literally, Ruto lost the whole of Mount Kenya. So he doesn't have Mount Kenya cannot trust him actually. So he doesn't have Mount Kenya, And then about the western side of the country, that is the western region, we are not so sure that he can pang on the entire side of the Baluya. It all depends on how he's going to treat the likes of Wycliffe Obalanya and the likes of Moses Wetangula. I don't think that Musalia Mudavadi has much to offer from the western side of the country, unless he talks well with Wycliffe Obalanya and the likes of the Speaker of the National Assembly, And then from the rake, it totally has like the support from the lake or from Nyasa region actually depends on his relationship with Baba. And because in the past he has betrayed Baba, we are not so sure that Baba is going actually to support him. After all, as at the moment, what I know is that they are using each other. He needs the support of Baba to stabilize the country, and Baba needs him to win the AU chairmanship. So you see, as at the moment, their relationship is kind of symbiotic. I win, you win. At the point next year where, for example, Baba loses the AU chairmanship, the relationship may not be there. But at the same time, even if Baba supported Ruto in 2027, the young people of this particular nation feels like Baba betrayed them by forming a broad-based government with President Ruto. And therefore, they may not listen to Baba in terms of voting to him. Should we have somebody like maybe Babu Owino running for president or a deputy president, young people are likely to follow him than following Baba. So you understand, like Ruto has lost Meta fourth places, all Meta fourth regions where he could have gotten a lot of votes. And now he's also losing the church. Losing the church means he's kind of losing the whole of Kenya because, it's only the church in this particular country which is in even in a village. Sometimes churches like the Catholic Church offers services in the most remote areas of this particular country where the government has not reached. So you can imagine if Ruto is losing the support of the church, is literally losing popularity in the country, you know. He's becoming unpopular, you know. He may be famous, but not a popular candidate. And from where I stand, I just feel like President Ruto has a lot of work to do. And I don't think it is wise for him to run for presidency in 2027. Because if we were to go for free and fair elections, he may be beaten very early in the morning by the competitors. Imagine if Matiang'i is the running mate, is a competitor to President Ruto in 2027. With President Ruto having lost the church and having lost the mountain and having lost, of course, the eastern part, like Ukambani, I don't think that they will vote him in as much as he has tried to give some positions there. Kalonzo still can command the region, you know. So you can imagine if Kalonzo says I'm on the ticket as a running mate to Matiang'i, and they get the blessings of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in the mountain and Rigathi Gachagua, you know, that ticket, my friend, is a very serious ticket. And if Matiang'i runs for president, who knows? Baba will be there to support him, because in any case in 2022, Papa had hinted that if he did not run for the presidency, Matiang'i was the one to run under the Azimio ticket. So you understand, Papa may actually betray Ruto, because in politics, the only constant thing is petrol, and they support Matiang'i. So imagine Ruto competing with Matiang'i, with Ruto having lost the faith of the church, or the trust of the church. It was going to be chaotic. And honestly, from where I stand, it's said that President Ruto is going to call his cabinet and his political allies. You know, sometimes I feel like, in as much as yes, it may not be that effective, but I also think the people around the president are also misleading him. Because they are not telling him the truth. You know, they don't want to tell him the truth. Maybe they want to tell him what he wants to hear. But, you know, for me, if I was to be President Ruto, and the church has raised such a concern, I would have called all these church leaders, you know, all of them, the council of churches in Kenya. I would have called all of them and then tell them, okay, you have raised this and this. What do you want me to do? What is the way forward? I could not allow, you know, my political allies to respond the way they responded. You know, their response was more of Nivita. There's nothing you can do. We are in power. You know, and let me tell you, you cannot rattle a snake and expect it not to bite. And as at the moment, I think the church has been rattled enough. You know, every time the church talks, they are being attacked. You know, it has reached even a point where we have MPs and members and political allies of President Ruto now starting to choose on few individuals. You know, once the church offers a statement, now they start choosing Bishop Muheria, etc. You know what they are telling the Kenyan citizen is that we are ready to fight your religious leaders, and there's no something as bad as when you demonstrate to the congregants like unataka kugusa pastor wao, ama unataka kugusa father wao, ama unataka kugusa, you know, bishop wao. That's where Kenyans draw the line. You may be as good as you can, but the moment you start touching their pastors, the moment you start touching their bishops, they will leave you there. And as at the moment, I think, even when you see the way the Kenyans reacted actually to this entire story, they were like, no, this is the church we were waiting. No, like the Kenyans are agreeing with the church. You know, the church returning money, you know. And you know, I don't know why. Must somebody give a sadaka of 2 million? You know, okay, what do you think, honestly? And from where I sit, I just feel like President Ruto has just lost. This was just the church telling him, you know, back to the sender. We don't want your money. We don't want your support. All we want is accountability. You know, it's like just being slapped on the face. It's just like, you know, somebody comes and tells you, you're not welcome in my place. Because I don't think actually the way this one has turned out, like he will feel so comfortable again to go to another church and even donate. You know, it is even now putting like a break to our political leaders. I don't think they are going they will go to Harambes anymore. And I'm like, they had always used the church to gain their popularity. You know, unakuja unapeana milioni zako hapo, unaenda. And then the next thing we see on Twitter, today I was somewhere, we donated money to build this and this. Kind of, you want to emotionally arrest the congregants of that particular church you know, I supported you in building the pastor's church. I supported you in buying the church fund. I supported you in building this church. So support me into going to power. And I think that's what the church is trying actually to avoid, because for a long time, the congregants have been emotionally held under hostage or emotionally arrested by the politicians in this particular country. But what do you think about President Ruto having lost, you know, the mountain and now losing the church? You know, what is the political future? Or like, what is in for President Ruto in 2027? You know, these are my opinions. For me, where I feel like he's lost. He's lost the mountain. He's lost the church, and losing the church, he has lost popularity. He has so many, you know, he's lost even the trust of Kenyans. Ruto started by losing the trust of Kenyans. He's lost the trust of Kenyans. He's lost the mountain. Then he's lost now the church. Oh, yeah. I just think he's not heading in the right direction politically. Your opinions down there. These are my opinions. Let me hear about your opinions. And kindly remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and, you know, share this particular video. Like it and give it a thumbs up. See you next time. Catherine, Madam CS, the CS TV Porridge.